What's up, guys? It is John from Side Hustle Experiment. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm a six-figure Amazon seller. I do online arbitrage, just transitioned out of books. In today's video, we're going to cover the pros and cons of lead lists. I get DMs every day to promote lead lists, to start lead lists with other people. People ask me if lead lists are worth it. So I'm going to cover the pros and cons. This is from my opinion, only from my experience. I haven't joined every leads list either, so some could be really good that I haven't come across yet. This is just kind of from my experience. All right, I've been in about 4 or 5. So I'm going to cover the pros, the cons, what I think about leads lists, and at the very end, I'm going to go over how you could get higher quality leads than a leads list without paying for a leads list for absolutely free. It's something I've been doing the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 months that has worked really, really well. And it's definitely better in my opinion. If you're new to the channel, please please subscribe to the video. I basically teach you guys how to make money on Amazon. So if you could subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. So let's just get into it. So for those of you who don't know, a leads list is basically a list, or it could be a Discord group. And the owner will post leads. Now they all have a criteria, and this is typically for it doesn't matter where you are in the journey, but typically they'll be about 30% ROI, $3 profit. It just really all depends on the criteria of the group. It's usually capped at anywhere from 10 to 30 people. I've seen as much as 50 people on a list. It just really depends. Some are Discord groups, some are just a Google Doc that is sent to you, some are just an Excel doc. It just really, really depends on what it is. And before I kind of get into this anymore, I have nothing against people who own leads lists, who create leads lists. I know people who really, really like leads lists. I know people who really, really hate leads lists. So with that being said, now that we know what it is, one of the issues I think that most people come across is I think a lot of lead lists are marketed poorly. A lot of them are basically marketed so that you, who is ready to buy a leads list, think that you're going to get about 5 to, let's say, 8 leads every day, Monday through Friday. They're going to be about 30% ROI, at least $3 profit. There's going to be maybe like less than 10 sellers on one, whatever. And while that is kind of the case, what you will get is leads that fit that criteria, but the problem becomes that you're not really accounting for sales tax. A lot of the leads are on price spikes. A lot of the leads, maybe it's very low in stock, so people are basically ran out of stock and probably are replenishing their stock. So once you buy it and they buy it, the price is going to go back down to its normal price. Again, leads lists are basically just a lead. It's not like buy this by that nature, but that's just something to keep in mind while you're doing this. So I would say the pros. So let's cover the pros first. So one of the pros, I think, besides being on a list is, one, you're going to get exposed to brands you don't know of. So there's on a leads list, you're going to get the leads. You're going to see some brands you know, some brands you don't know. Another benefit of this is you'll see stores that you could shop at, or websites that maybe you didn't know about. So while the lead might not be meet your criteria after prep costs or sales tax, you might be able to look up that brand on Amazon and find other profitable products. Or you could look at the website that the lead is being sold, or the item is being sold at, and see if they have other profitable items. Another benefit of leads is the people that are on that listing. Usually the listing or the item is profitable at that point in time. So the people who acquired that item before, like previous, right? Because if they're in the buy box right now, they probably got the lead about probably anywhere from 1 to 2 weeks ago. So obviously they knew that this would be a good product to sell on Amazon. So they are probably selling other products that are good, that you could find at other places. So using a tool like SellerAmp, you could easily go through their storefront, see what else they are selling, and have a more targeted list of storefronts to go after. If you want a free trial of SellerAmp, there's a link in my bio. So for me, those are kind of the pros, without really getting into the nitty gritty of it. So the cons. So most likely the cons are there are too many people on the list. So 10 people is ideal, I guess. That's usually the lowest I've ever seen is 10 people. Still a lot of people. A lot of people will say, well, not everyone's going to buy everything. Everyone's different criteria. And while that's all true, that's a lot of people. A lot of these leads lists, you're not supposed to share the leads with outsiders, but we know we're all human, and you know people are sharing them with other sellers or friends or whatever. So that is kind of one of the cons. Number two, that one lead can be on multiple lists. So just because you're seeing the lead in the leads list you're in does not guarantee it's not going to appear on the other, I don't know, 20, 30, 40 leads lists that are out there or discords, right? A lot of this stuff is being pulled from data and tactical arbitrage. So if it's findable in a tactical arbitrage search, that could be, one where it appears in everyone and everyone's pulling that lead. There are some leads lists that are done manually. Those are probably a little safer or a little better to buy. Number three rather, I would say they could be pricey. So you're paying 100 to 200 to up to 300 I've seen per month to get leads. The argument is made that, for $100, like in a month, like you should find at least $100 worth of value, or $100 worth of profit. So you're not really out any money and stuff like that. And I guess maybe that could be true. But for the most part, I mean, again, that kind of lends to the poor marketing. A lot of people just don't want to break even or just find $100 worth. And yes, I know there are screenshots and everything else out there saying that people are crushing it in these groups or leads. And there really are, people are doing that. But there's a lot of other people you're not seeing that aren't crushing it. And sometimes that's on them for not taking advantage of the leads or doing whatever. But let's just leave that there. Some of the things you could do, so with a leads list, is save all the leads. So if you're a part of 2 or 3 or wanted to join about 3 or 4, you could do that. One of my good friends always says, join all the leads lists, then fire all the leads lists if they're not making you profit. And basically, this is mainly geared towards lists, not really Discord communities, because Discord communities give you community and you can build relationships and networks. So that's just a different value in itself. But what you could do is compile all the leads that you've gotten, and basically maybe, 30, 60, 90 days later, review those leads again. A lot of the times, the people who were selling on that listing are now no longer on that listing. Either their price tanked on them, they lost some money, so they're going to forget about that. But if you go back there, it could still be profitable, and a lot of other people will not be selling on that. So that's almost one of the best ways to use it. And that compounded with, looking for other brands or looking for the same brand but different items, or searching the website for sales or coupons or all sorts of stuff. So now that we kind of covered that, let's get into a way that you could basically get higher quality leads compared to leads lists, Before we get into that though, you also have to think about this. A lot of the reason leads lists get, I think, bad names is because they also attract lazy people. So, sorry, that's just how it is, right? People who want to be spoon fed a lead, I get like we all start at the beginning, but it's always better to be able to find your own leads. That's how it is. And I get it, you're just starting. But if you, this is like a shortcut and it's marketed as a shortcut. So when you take shortcuts, things go wrong. Things do not go as planned and usually happens because we take a shortcut. So with that being said, one of the better ways I have found to get leads that are high quality without paying for a leads list is to basically make your own leads list. Now, that does not mean that you're, because that sounds stupid, because, oh, like you just be sourcing for yourself. Well, let me explain. So one of the things I've done in the last 4 or 5 months is I have partnered with people that I've met on Instagram or people who've reached out to me from YouTube, and we've been sharing leads. So basically we have a shared Google Doc. I do this with one person. We submit about 3 or 4 leads each to the Google Doc every day. So there is 3 leads right there for me. We both manually source. So it's a little safer than pulling stuff from Tactical Arbitrage that might appear in other places. So I really like that, and that's been a huge driver for me. Then I have another somewhat kind of 3-ish people that we share a Google Doc, and we each enter about 1 to 2 leads per week. That one's a little different. The nature of that one is just different, but it's still helpful. So right there, I have 5 leads. Well, more than that, because I'm getting 5 a day or 3 a day from the Google Doc I share with the other person. So that right there is 15 leads a week. Are all of them profitable? Yes and no. Some are better than others. But just like we all have different criteria. I'm sending to a prep center. They're not. I'm not paying sales tax. They are. So some of them are just kind of don't make sense for the business models we have. But eventually, if we both have prep centers or both don't pay sales tax, they'll get better. But there's enough there to keep doing it. So how does this compare to you? You're like, I don't have a YouTube channel. I don't have a big Instagram. I don't do this or that. All you need is literally 2 to 3 people. You could get together if you're all beginners or you're kind of in the middle. All it takes is 3 or 4 people. So let's say you get together a group, whether you DM people on Instagram, know people in a Discord, know people in a Facebook group. I've seen posts in Facebook groups like, hey, does anyone want to create like a mini community out of this? Like 5 to 10 people to hold each other accountable, share leads, do stuff like that. So if everyone puts in 2 leads and you have 4 people per group, right? You get 6 leads a day, right? And while you're not paying for it, you are in labor, like finding the leads or whatever. And there's some management there, whoever owns the Google Doc and stuff like that. But for the most part, it is probably one of the most profitable things I've done. And as you get into the game more and more and network with other people, I'm constantly getting leads from friends. I'm constantly sending them leads, which makes it even better. So I'll wrap it up here. I think lead lists are valuable. I think lead lists do have their place. I don't know. For me, if you're a newer seller, I honestly think you should learn how to source yourself. Lead lists can be somewhat helpful, but they tend to be more frustrating because you're buying stuff, the price is going down, you're frustrated, you might not have that much capital to start with in the beginning, you don't really know what a good product is. A lot of people are relying on the leads list to give you a great product, but they're just doing what matches the criteria at the current time. It's not like they're going with an average 90-day price. In most cases, it's usually the current price. So keep that in mind. I honestly think the better way is to network with other sellers, create a shared Google Doc with 2 or 3 people. Even if you're all beginners, you will be sharing leads so you could help each other out. Be like, why do you think this is a good lead? Why do you think that is a good lead? Why? You could ask all these questions. I know the one that I share where we submit daily, we both were kind of newish to this when we first started doing it, and the lead quality has drastically improved as we both have gotten better. So I would say that's what I prefer to do. It's much easier. You don't have to pay for it. We text back and forth. It's just much better in my opinion. And the best part is you build a relationship with that person or a couple of people, and that is my thoughts on leads lists. Let me know what you think in the comments. Have you been on leads lists? What do you think of them? Are they beneficial? I'd love to know. Like I said, this is just based on my experience. I have nothing against people who own leads lists. I'm actually friends with lots of people who do own leads lists. And I, like anything else, people think people who have courses are kind of slimy. I know plenty of people who aren't slimy. It just really depends. Some people find it helpful, some don't. For me personally, like I said, I'd rather form a group myself or share with someone else. So that's what I got for you guys today. Please like, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys in the next video.